direction, they will catch it a moment.
Romanowski from Boston College made the hit. He was a third-round pick. Now Esiason, third down. Throws it, almost intercepted in the end zone. Tim McKyer was the closest player, way over the head of Eddie Brown. And here comes the field goal unit and Jim Breach, the man with the smallest foot in professional football, a size 5 right shoe. His other is a 7. He just wants to pack it in there. Father of 6 children. This 32-year-old kicker is tough from short range, and this certainly within his range will be a 34-yarder.
Now this would be a big kick for that small foot. Tie him up in this ball game, get him back in the fight.
The hold by backup quarterback Turk Schonert, and we have a new game. Breach from 34 yards was a San Francisco 49er fan as he grew up and attended the University of California in Berkeley. 1:15 left in this first half. Boy, if you'd have said Merlin Olsen with just a little over a minute to go, there'd be a 3-3 game. Everyone was looking for a lot of points. Hasn't been so.
Offensive.
And John Taylor, RD, Taylor on the near side. Lee Johnson. Ooh, does he hit a knuckleball? And Rogers fields it at the 2. And returns to the 25-yard line, where Carl Parker, a wide receiver from Vanderbilt, makes the tackle.
One of the things we haven't seen yet, and Bill Walsh said he would use it during the day. He said, I will use the no-huddle offense at some time during the game. I won't use it to try and keep the defenders off the field for Cincinnati, but what I will use it for is to take advantage of some of the preset defenses. When he's gone through and probed with his plays, he knows what the automatic defenses are, and you may see him do that here in this situation.
The give to Craig. Cincinnati looking for the pass, and the 49ers run it and get 10 big yards out to the 35-yard line. And without a huddle, Montana brings them right back to the line of scrimmage into the final minute of this first half, a 3-3 tie.
And here's a situation where they're going to try and catch them in the automatic defense, force them to make the audible here, and try to get the big play.
Throw underneath to Craig, incomplete. He did not have control. Barney Bussey, an extra defensive back, was covering Craig. 41 seconds left in the half. 2nd and 10. Or the one player you know that the Cincinnati defense is going to be sure they've located is number 80, Jerry Rice. And it's Rice to the near side, number 80. Dragged down at the 31-yard line. Jim Scow and Jason Buck, the 2 young defensive ends. Buck in his 2nd year from BYU. He was their #1 pick after winning the Outland Trophy Award with the Cougars at BYU.
You don't want to let Montana out to his right. He wants to scramble right, and you see they force him back to the left-hand side. He's not nearly as comfortable moving back in that direction. It makes it possible to control him much easier defensively.
Timeout was called by Taylor and Mike Wilson, 3 wide receivers, and he gives to Rathman, the fullback, out to the 42-yard line, short of the first down. Timeout, Cincinnati, with 26 seconds to go, and that means the 49ers will bring Helton, the punter, on.
Not as good a position to rush the punter here, because if you do get a roughing call, it would give them a first down.
Helton was picked high in the draft last spring in '88, 4th round. One of the 3 punters to make it in the NFL. Rookie brothers-in-law. Nobody back for Cincinnati. 10 men on the line of scrimmage.
Good.
Beautiful kick. And it is down at the 1-yard line. Ron Heller, number 89, the tight end, got to 57 yards for Helton. And with 13 seconds left in the first half, Cincinnati has to be certain, as they start from just outside the 2 is where they spot the ball, that they don't make a fatal final mistake before the gun.
Sam has seen enough of those.
Bebop Bamboozled in 3D is coming up. And then Bob Costas with Coach Don Shula.
Coming up at halftime, we have the best of our music sequences from the year.
See everything without any problem.
Esiason just holds on to the ball, and they'll let the clock run out undoubtedly to end this first half. So they'll play a 30-minute game as Montana and Esiason, San Francisco, Cincinnati leave the field. A couple of field goals. First quarter, a 41-yarder by Mike Kofer of San Francisco, and Jim Breach answered late in the second period.
And I don't want to say. Now let's see Kofer kicking off.
Tied score in a Super Bowl. San Francisco sends it in play, and Stanford Jennings from Furman. Flag down, and so is Jennings just shy of the 25-yard line. And where the yellow hankies are tossed, one must suspect illegal use of the hands against the return team. Harry Sidney made the tackle for San Francisco. Jerry Seaman. And indeed, Cincinnati will start from deep in its own end. And let's look at the official first half statistics.
Holding during the return, number 27 receiving team, first down.
Barney Bussey. So the ball's at the 14 for Cincinnati.
Statistics in the first half. San Francisco statistics, 80% of that yardage, 81% actually, accounted for by Craig and Rice, who were very big in this first half.
181 total yards to 93. San Francisco outgaining Cincinnati 2-1. Eddie Brown in motion. Ickey Woods out of the blocks in a hurry. This big guy at 230 pounds really is rolling on that second step. Nearly 5 yards before Michael Walter can make the tackle. There's Ickey Woods with his ponytail. That's his Samson symbol, and has not been able to generate an Ickey shuffle today. And Ronnie Lott, the Tiger, and the defense, calling the play and then looking for the ball. 2nd and 5. Misdirection. It's Woods to the 25 and a first down. Michael Carter trailing the play, and Jim Fawnhorse, number 55, make the stop. There's Carter, who won the silver medal in the 1984 Olympic Games in the shot put. He was both a star in track and field and football at SMU, but not drafted till the 5th round because many thought he would go into track and field on to the 88 games. What a buy he was at that late price for San Francisco. Quick huddle. Here to be an offside. Here comes James Brooks. Oh, is he crushed? And you know that's a Ronnie Lott tackle when you hear him all the way to the top row. He was set up by Griffin and Fuller, and then Lott came up to nail him. I believe 94, Charles Haley was offside. Offside San Francisco is the call. There's Haley, who was lined up on the defensive right side.
Haley flip-flopping, trying to get upfield quickly to get around Anthony Munoz. Let's take a look at Ronnie Lott. You tell concentration.
Offside.
He does read so well inside. And watch the reaction. Once he sees what is developing here, he doesn't waste any steps at all.
The old days, he used to teach you kind of lower that shoulder and head. He just hits you straight up, face mask to face mask. They take the penalty, 1st and 5 at the 30. A fake draw. Esiason down the middle to Collinsworth. And what a catch by the veteran from Florida. Ball not well thrown. Collinsworth injured on the play. He's been playing hurt all season long.
Collinsworth, a big, tall receiver, and Boomer tends to favor him over the years in a crisis situation where he has to get the ball to someone. I think he hurts himself as he hits the ground here. That's great concentration on that play. We're already of the opinion that McGee is hurt, the other wide receiver. Now, if Collinsworth goes down, that really puts Sam in a bind.
What an outstanding play by Collinsworth, catching the back end of the ball. And Don Griffin adding some punishment at the end. 23 yards, a first down. We'll see how Collinsworth is.
Yeah, yeah.
49ers territory.
Mickey Woods could not find a hole, and around his ankles was Kevin Fagan.
Fagan pursuing from his right defensive end position. Watch how quickly he'll get off the block here, off the back of Munoz, who's trying to block him actually with his hips. Keep him in. Ickey Woods trying to cut back. There was no chance there.
He was on the NCAA champions of the Hurricanes in 1983. Bernard Kozar's team. Esiason. Flags are down. Esiason, high school baseball star, hook slides in at the 42, but the flag back, and Michael Carter says they're grabbing on to me, ref.
This is a situation that Cincinnati has been shot down in all day. First half, they were 1 for 6 third down conversions. That, of course, will take the football out of their hands and hand it back over to San Francisco. They have got to improve on that number. Esiason's completions in the first half and the second half, all to wide receivers.
Holding, number 75 offense, still second down.
Here's Reimers called for holding. Watch him going outside here. Their stunt takes Kevin Fagan in, so they have to switch bodies. Well, I tell you, he's just trying to hang on to Michael Carter. That's just like getting on the back of a freight train.
Out of the backfield, James Brooks. All the way to the 38-yard line. Oh, you talk about great trade. Cincinnati sent Pete Johnson, the big fullback, to San Diego to get James Brooks in 1984 from the Chargers. Johnson only played a few games out on the West Coast, and Brooks has starred for the Bengals.
First pass to anyone other than a wide receiver, and it's successful. They've got to get the ball into other people's hands here, into Rodney Holman's hands, into Brooks's hands.
20 yards on the play, and that brings up 3rd and 2. There's the Esiason targets. He hasn't thrown to the Pro Bowl tight end Rodney Holman yet. Ickey Woods. First down at the 35 of San Francisco. Now here is a story as the Cincinnati fans celebrate a first down. 3-all was score. 10:09 left third quarter. We understand that Tim Crumry refuses to go to the hospital. Knows both bones in his lower left leg are broken. He's staying here. He's worked to get to the Super Bowl. He is not leaving Joe Robbie Stadium. He's watching the game in the locker room. He wants to be part of what he feels, of course, with his heart will be a Cincinnati day, and he'll talk to us on the post-game show.
I've got to believe that part of the inspiration for this Cincinnati team is knowing that kind of strength is coming from one of their injured teammates. And, of course, a very important play for Sam Wyche's offense. Their second third down conversion of the day. They're getting down, pushing down now into an area of the field where they can get some points.
We have a problem with the clock.
Speaking of the clock, the attack offense, the hurry-up offense, has not been a factor so far in this ballgame. Something a lot of people worried about, asked about, questioned about.
Well, we have a moment. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Francisco 49ers and Cincinnati Bengals is prohibited. The game is property of the National Football League. Cincinnati and San Francisco, all rights reserved.
David Douglas onto the field in place of Bruce Reimers.
This is the first possession of the second half, and Cincinnati has now taken it to a first down outside the Niner 35. Ickey. And a flag is down after a couple-yard pickup. Larry Roberts, who played in Alabama, made the stop.
This is not a Bengal team that gets outside well with this huge offensive line. They're really better off running inside tackle.
Procedure against Cincinnati, a 5-yard penalty. Short gain. Let's see if the 49ers take the 5. Ronnie Lott, who was the NFL runner-up for Rookie of the Year behind Lawrence Taylor back in 1981. Came out of the same draft as Kenny Easley, who starred with Seattle as a defensive back.
We had an illegal shift. 2-man move. Did not reset prior to the snap. Still first down.
So first and 15 from the 40. We told you Tim Krumrie. We're sorting out, trying to find out where Steve Wallace, the fine tackle of San Francisco with a broken ankle, where he is, whether he's in the locker room or on the sidelines. Kevin Fagan drags down Esiason right at the 40-yard line. No gain. Oh, he's had time to find a receiver, but the 49er deep defense had him all covered.
49ers have done a good job of mixing their coverages today, and it's been a long day so far for Boomer Esiason.
Esiason ran for 248 yards during the regular season. That is officially a sack. Second and 15. Woods is out. Brooks, the only running back, he gets the call. You hear a play like that, you wonder when you were a kid, why did you ever want to be a football player?
That sounds like, you know, they connect those cars in the railroad yard. That's what that sound sounded like.
7 yards for Brooks. Tim McKyer and Fuller and company with the tackle. No huddle.
Attack offense being utilized here. San Francisco willing to play with what they have on the field. Of course, with Jeff Fuller, he can be linebacker or safety. Haley can be down lineman or linebacker, so they have a lot of flexibility.
Esiason. It's a first down on a leaping catch by Chris Collinsworth, 6'5", and he needed all of it to spare the ball.
Old habits die hard. Collinsworth, a receiver that Esiason has looked for repeatedly over the years. He does it again here. The heat is on. That is a great catch.
And the deepest penetration for the Bengals in the game at the 22-yard line. Collinsworth out. They send Brooks out as a flanker left to the near side. Both wide receivers to the right. And Ickey Woods the runner. Breaking a couple of tackles inside the 20, where Michael Walter and Don Griffin team for the tackle. Collinsworth, who has had a couple of key catches for Cincinnati today.
Cincinnati Bengals have been moving James Brooks out to that wide receiver position to try and get Jeff Fuller to go out there and line up with him, taking Fuller out of a position to get involved in run support for the defense.
7 minutes left, third quarter. The game is tied at 3. Movement in the line, and Michael Carter reacts to it. Boomer complaining that it was Carter who initiated. Carter saying he was drawn offside.
False start prior to the snap. Center.
Bruce Kozerski.
That's pretty unusual. Obviously a flex or movement by the center to simulate the snap. And that's not legal. Not legal for anyone in that line to move once they're down in position.
Kozerski, an honor student, majored in physics at Holy Cross.
Watch a little bit of movement there. You got to think that you got to know that he was just confused on what he was supposed to do, what the snap count was. He has had a fine day on Michael Carter, though.
2nd and 12. Woods, nothing there. And look at Lott come in. Boy, Woods got down just in time. He was set up, and Lott had about a 20-yard run at him. Here's the no huddle.
Very quick substitutions for San Francisco. They put 5 people on the field, so they've got their people in there already. Fresh-legged rushers. They're watching Lott come up.
Dodge a bullet.
That's a good choice. Dive.
Now the ball at the 25-yard line. 3rd down and 13. Boomer's 3 for 3 on this drive. Flags are down. We'll see whether Jerry Seaman had Esiason, and the play whistled in the grasp and control. Illegal procedure against the Bengals.
Now, do you let it go to 4th down, or do you move them back? Obviously thinking this one over.
Walsh, the 57-year-old head coach of the 49ers, says decline it, make him try the long field goal. Is this his last game?
Illegal shift. 2-man move prior to the snap. Did not reset. Penalty declined. 4th down.
That's twice that they
Second time on this drive that they've been called for the same penalty. You can legally move 2 people, but you've got to reset for a second before that ball is snapped.
So Jim Breach, and this will test the limit of his leg. They like him inside the 40. Outside the 40, it's a bonus. This one will be 43 yards. You see, he's made only 205 from this range this year. To give Cincinnati the lead for the first time. And so it is. .43 yards for Jim Breach, and the Bengals lead 6-3. Cincinnati's Lee Johnson will now kick it off to San Francisco. That was a time-consuming 12-play drive, over 9 minutes used by Cincinnati to get the field goal by Breach. You see Taylor and Rogers deep. Cincinnati leading 6-3. Del Rogers at the goal line. And he's down at the 17, but they may have got him in the face mask as the flags fly. Darrell Smith, 25 downfield, and there's another injury to a 49er. And it may be Rogers as they hit him high. That might have been a face mask. He's okay.
Personnel foul. Face mask. Number 25. Kicking team. First down.
Oh, it'll be a 15-yard penalty.
That's the big one. And from what looked like relatively bad field position, suddenly they're outside the 30.
At the 31-yard line. I understand we have the camera man that has gone down to the Cincinnati Bengal locker room. Tim Crumry down there will show you what he found. Play action Montana. to Rice, incomplete. Just moments ago, Tim Crumry, 2 bones fractured in that left leg. You see he's already been casted, and Crumry staying here watching the game from the Bengal locker room. He will not go to the hospital. They have the helicopter here ready to take him.
He's hard-headed, but he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants.
Fake draw. Montana's going to run it. And alertly out of bounds with a first down at the 42-yard line. Now Montana's 32 years young, but he still has good feet.
Does not like to run as much as he did early in his career. Of course, the very serious back operation. Many said no way he can come back from that. He came back before the season was out. A remarkable recovery. He still has good speed. He's been discouraged from running, from taking the hits. But in a game like this, he'll do whatever it takes to get his team a victory.
Jerry Rice to the right, the only wide man on first down. And Craig up the middle. 49ers didn't run straight ahead in the first half. They mostly directed their running game wide, so Craig blasting up the middle for 5. Steve Wallace, who fractured his ankle on the 3rd play of the game, the offensive tackle for the 49ers. We do not know whether he is in his regular clothes on the sidelines or where he might be at the moment. Bubba Paris, a veteran from Michigan, has replaced him. There he is. Boy, he could sell advertisement on the back of that body. He is big. Jerry Rice. And a little short pattern where they try to get Rice with enough room that he can use his dazzling footwork, as he did against the Bears in the big win 2 weeks ago up at Soldier Field. 13 on the play.
Craig and Rice, the big guns in the first half. Watch the very quick feet. Some of the turf tearing up on this field, and footing would appear to be a little bit treacherous at times.
6-3. Cincinnati. 4 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Craig. Good lateral pursuit by the Bengal defense to deny him any big game. Reggie Williams was there early, as was David Grant, who has replaced Crumry. And there you see some of the football divots being torn up on this new sod. They resodded the center of the field about 5 weeks ago.
Looks good, but it is not holding up very well to the cuts of these two teams. 49ers with those 2 fine pulling guards, Sapolo, McIntyre inside, trying to work the outside of this defense a little here in this first drive.
2nd and 6. And Montana caught from behind.
Reggie Williams. He had 2 sacks in the playoffs earlier, coming from the backside. Montana did not see him. He was able to get a wraparound and get enough of Montana to knock him to the ground. He'll come from the right-hand side of your picture. Montana will feel the pressure up front right there, but he didn't see Reggie from the backside, and boy, he just barely got enough of him to take him down.
A loss of 3. It's 3rd and 9. Out of the backfield, Craig, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage by Barney Bussey. Boy, that just sounds like a football player, doesn't it? Barney Bussey from South Carolina State.
There he is, right in the middle of your picture. He's assigned to Craig, man to man, and watch him take that responsibility seriously. That's what you call a spy man there. Hey, he's my man. I'm going to go find him.
He was the player that hit Doug Williams, remember, in the overtime when the Redskins looked like they might beat Cincinnati, missed the short field goal, and then Bussey sacked Williams, forced the fumble, and Cincinnati won on the field goal in overtime. Helton hits it high. Fair catch. They'll let it go. It takes a 49. It hit one of the Bengals. That's a live ball. Who recovered?
Saved by the Bengals.
Ray Horton. the Cincinnati players. That could have been a disaster for one team and glory for another. Timeout.
Ira Hillary, number 89. The ball is going to bounce off of his heel. And look how many 49ers are here. Look how many guys they have in this situation. And yet, it's Bussey. Oh, look at that stack. There are 7 49ers. It's Hort, number 20, actually, who does recover that. But
he was the only white shirt.
The only opportunity they had. And Ira Hillary, who was trying to get away from that football, has to breathe easy. Boy, that could have been a costly turnover.
And so very close for the 49ers to get a big break. 2:29 remaining, third quarter. Cincinnati leads 6-3. Intercepted. Romanowski. Bill Romanowski does give the 49ers the break at the 23-yard line.
After finally getting a few successful passes completed in that first drive, Esiason does not look good with his first pass of the second drive. Throws it right into the arms of the waiting linebacker. That ball just poorly thrown.
Romanowski is in there because he's tough on the run. He did not have an interception all year.
You just got to get that ball up a little bit. You'll have a chance. But that ball, and it looks to me like Boomer just throwing that ball badly.
Montana incomplete. Jerry Rice trying to turn upfield before he really tucked it away.
Jerry Rice, those are sure hands. This is not a man who drops it to the ground, who looks away before it arrives. But that's exactly what he did. He's looking downfield before he tucked it away.
Romanowski accepting the congratulations. They really like this rookie. He's played well and comes up with a big turnover at 2nd and 10. Craig and Richie Williams, the veteran, staying at home. Boy, you could just see him plant his feet on the outside and say, you're going to have to go inside. You're not going to get around me.
5 substitutions on the field for the Bengals. They go into their nickel package to try and shut Montana down. Walsh counters with his own substitutions.
A big 3rd and 7 for Montana at the Cincinnati 20. Rice,
he's going to be short
by a yard. Lewis Billups rides him down at the 20, at the 14-yard line. 4th and 1. He's going to go for the field goal. In comes Kofor. Apparent field goal.
Yes, better add that. It's been that kind of day. You pull out the stops in this kind of game, and it would not surprise us to see either coach throw a trick play or pull one out of his hat here.
It'll be from short range, although, remember, Kofor the last time on a bad snap missed the shortest ever in Super Bowl 19. This is 32 yards. Here's Thomas, the snapper. It is good. With 50 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. Once again, this Super Bowl is tied.
Back to NBC now with a kickoff, and look at the Bengals go.
All the way, unless Sidney can catch him, he can't. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Oh, my. Sam White and Stanford Jennings are both graduates of Furman, and they can enjoy this special moment together. 93 yards for a score, and Cincinnati has exploded into the lead. Fulton Walker returned a kickoff for a touchdown in the Miami-Washington game in the Rose Bowl 6 games ago. That was a 98-yarder. But it's Cincinnati stunning the 49ers, and Stanford Jennings 93 yards.
Jennings getting more responsibility because of the suspension of Stanley Wilson and taking advantage of his opportunity here. Boy, he is high stepping. He looks like Roger Craig going down that field.
Terry Greer, wide receiver 83, got his heels, but just a yard too late. And here is Fulton Walker, Super Bowl 17 for Miami. And Walker going 98 yards, a record against the Redskins, but it wasn't enough because that was a day for Rigo and Rigonomics. And John Riggins scored in the 4th quarter, and the Skins beat the Dolphins 27-17.
That's for you and Kelsey. Love you too. All right, there it is.
If you want to get a return on a kick, you've got to bring it straight up the field, and then you count on getting some good blocking. Look at those red shirts fall, and Jennings never broke stride. You got to be in condition to hump that far down the field.
And that is a rare experience, and they'll be cheering at Fountain Square in Cincinnati. They have returned only one other kickoff for a touchdown in something like 12 seasons.
These are the kinds of plays that switch emotion around in a game. I'll tell you that there's nothing bigger or nothing more devastating on the other side than that kind of special teams play.
Now it's the 49ers' turn. First touchdown of the game on special teams, 13-6. And here's a man who can take it all away, John Taylor. Stopped at the 15-yard line. Ed Brady and Mark Logan.
There's a sense of emotion being magnified in this game in such a way that a bad break of that kind really works more heavily than it would even in a playoff game, or particularly in a regular season game. We'll see how that impacts both of these teams as they get on into this 4th quarter.
Montana hits as he throws, and Jerry Rice still on his feet. Finally dragged down at the 46-yard line. Jerry Rice and Montana, what a hookup. And for the quarterback of the 49ers, he got that one off just as he was kissed. Final second of the 3rd quarter. 15 to go. Cincinnati by a touchdown. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Phillips couldn't drag him down. Look at the great balance by Rice. They say he doesn't have great speed until he has that ball in his hands. Montana on the roll. Throwing deep. Complete to Craig. And Craig is to the 14-yard line.
Well, how do you answer a big play? You come right back with that kind of play. Montana not wasting any time. Bing, right down the field, rolling to his right. He favors that. He's so comfortable out there all kinds of time. You talk about touch passes. The wind didn't play with that one, Dick.
That's the first time he's completed a pass on a roll. 1 for 5. Gets 40 yards as San Francisco tries to come right back. Into the end zone. Almost intercepted. Lewis Phillips had his hands on it.
You have the sense of this being a day of missed opportunities for the San Francisco 49ers. Well, this is a missed opportunity for Lewis Phillips. He gets the read here. Taylor driving inside, and Phillips with good anticipation knows where that pattern is going to be thrown. He had it. He had it. You can't drop that one. That's your ball out on the 20, and you shut down the drive.
Both wide receivers to the left, Taylor and Rice. The throw is to Rice. Touchdown.
A great combination, knows exactly where the other person is going to be. Look how he hung that ball out over that goal line. That ball just has to be out over that goal line, has to break the plane of the goal line before he goes out of bounds. I don't think there'll be any review of that. Nope, not now.
Ooh, Hofer just does get that kick away, and the game is tied again at 13.
Taking another angle. Let's see where the ball is when the body goes out of bounds. Rice sticks the ball out with his right hand. I think he's got a touchdown. I do.
Boy, it took the 49ers only about a minute to answer. It's 13 all. At yard line.
Dick, there are a few plays in every game that can turn the nature of the game around, where the game kind of hangs in the balance. That big play on special teams by Jennings, one of those plays, and that missed interception, one of those critical plays.
Lewis Billups had it right in his hands as he made the play in the end zone, but couldn't tuck it away.
If he makes that catch, it's their ball out on the 20-yard line, and I'm sure that's what's going through his brain on the sideline right now. He also, by the way, was the man assigned to cover Rice on the touchdown.
Starting from the 35, just under 14 minutes to go. 13 all. Boomer to Brown. Eddie Brown out to the 42-yard line. Let's go back to that play that preceded the San Francisco touchdown.
Again, Billups with good position, and that's not a great pass from Montana, but right through his arms, and that is not a difficult catch to make. Boy, I'll tell you, that's the kind that haunts you. That's the kind you wake up in the middle of the night dreaming about.
Second down, 2.5. Woods has the first down at the 47-yard line. Michael Walter and Larry Roberts spearheaded the charge, a 4-yard gain. Walter played at Oregon. He and Walsh are on the same page. They celebrate their birthday together on November 30th. Time remaining in the fourth quarter. It's been, it seems, a long time since a Super Bowl game has been this close. The last time the game was decided in the fourth quarter, as you look at the torn sod here at Joe Robbie Stadium, was in Pasadena when Washington and Riggins beat Miami. That was 6 games ago. Woods, a couple. Larry Roberts, he's played a big game, number 91, in his third year with the 49ers.
He's really matured during this year, become an effective pass rusher and run down specialist. In fact, they have him playing both ways. They like to flip-flop everybody else in there, but he stays in pretty much all the time.
We understand Steve Wallace, who fractured his ankle, the 49er tackle, he is being casted and is here in the locker room at Joe Robbie Stadium. Esiason, incomplete. And they're going to rule that Esiason was down and in the grass. That is a sack for Larry Roberts and Charles Haley.
Esiason, we've seen him rolling out more tonight by far than we have seen him in the past. And Haley, who's been relatively silent, coming very quickly off the left-hand side to get Esiason before he could get that ball away.
3 wide receivers to the right. Third and long. 15 to go. Ellsworth was the intended receiver at the 37-yard line. And Charles Haley again applying the pressure.
Those are the kind of passes that Boomer made so very successfully early in this season. We haven't seen him accurately deliver those balls in the last few weeks. He certainly has not been able to do it tonight.
Boy, after the Stanford Jennings touchdown with a kickoff return of 93 yards, have the 49ers turned that emotion around. They quickly marched to a score in 4 plays, 85 yards. Montana to Rice, the payoff 14. Now they've stopped Esiason in Cincinnati, and they get it right back with 11 minutes to go. Fair catch Taylor. That wasn't a very good fair catch signal. I don't know if they're going to allow it or not. San Francisco recovers the ball. Taylor really didn't get his hand up. It was kind of half-hearted, and that would have been Cincinnati's ball if recovered by the Bengals. Alertly, Darryl Pollard, 26, fell on it.
He's got to get that hand up and wave it. He didn't do it. Ooh, and he took his eye off of that football. Boy, they're lucky they didn't get that one taken away from them.
When we return, San Francisco starts from the 49er 18.
He's out.
7 minutes to go. Montana going for the big bomb to Rice. What a catch by Rice. Unbelievable again.
Earlier in the week, when there was talk of an injury to Rice's ankle, I think Lewis Billups was probably the happiest guy in Miami. But the story was not true. There's a man who doesn't have a sore ankle. At least he's running like a man with 2 healthy ankles. Billups with his hands full, and Rice, again, the amazing play.
Human highlight film. His coach in college, Archie Cooley, said he could catch a BB at midnight. Roger Craig slashes to the 31-yard line, and the combination of Jerry Rice catching the ball and Roger Craig both catching and running. Look at the totals they're racking up. They are the San Francisco offense.
You've got to believe that the way this Bengal defense has risen to the occasion without their best player, Tim Crumry, has taken a lot out of them emotionally. But right at this moment in that huddle, they're saying one thing: we can't backslide now. Let's go get them. Let's shut them down. It's still tied on the scoreboard.
Craig again. And sealing off the outside was Reggie Williams. He's played a tough game at that linebacker position. Want to duck in something. We just understand they're telling us that Tim Crumry, despite the fact he wanted to stay here, watch the game, see his team come in off the field, the doctors now have ordered Crumry to go to a nearby hospital for all the proper precautionary reasons, shock and that sort of thing. So Crumry has left. Now at the 32-yard line. 3rd down and 4. Craig, nope, he goes the other way to Rice, and it's knocked away incomplete. It was John Taylor. John Taylor on the near sideline.
Guess who is there to help that football fall to the ground? David Fulcher. We haven't mentioned his name as many times here in the second half, but that may be the biggest play for this defense of this second half. He knew.
He had 3 men open. He had Craig, then he had Rice a little short, and then on the sidelines the ball zipped to Taylor, but Fulcher the man on the spot. 49 yards for the lead, testing the leg of Mike Cofer.
Plenty of leg.
It is no good. Wide to the right. So despite that 44-yard completion to Rice, Cofer misses from 49. We're still tied.
Earlier this week.
After the missed 49-yard field goal, Cincinnati takes over at the 31. And it's Ickey Woods off tackle, and they're waiting for him. Kevin Fagan, just as Reggie Williams has been solid against the run for Cincinnati, Kevin Fagan has been the answer for the 49ers.
Ricky Ellison, number 50, in the middle of that defense. He's been hurt a good deal of the last part of this year. He has special incentive today. Let's go back to that attempted field goal, the snap by Randy Cross. Word that we have here now is that San Francisco used Cross as a snapper earlier in this game. So our criticism of Chuck Thomas may have belonged on Randy Cross's shoulders.
Michael Carter, the nose tackle, showing his speed as he runs Boomer Esiason out of bounds at the 29. So on that missed field goal, 19-yarder on the bad snap, that was veteran Randy Cross, not Chuck Thomas, who made the snap.
In his last ball game, retiring, maybe Chuck would like to take the blame for him. Perhaps we get Chuck to do that for Randy.
There's Cross, 13 years in the league, 3 times a Pro Bowler. He's played both center and guard. Wants to be a sportscaster, a very glib guy. And Dad was an actor, character actor, a bad guy in the movies. He's been a good guy for the 49ers, has Randy. 3rd and 13. McGee. Or Hillary, Ira Hillary in the game with the injuries to McGee, and Collinsworth has his first catch, had only 5 all season, and comes up with a big 3rd down play. First down.
Esiason throwing this long out. It's the kind of pass he missed several times earlier in the game. This one will be completed.
Didn't have a lot of zip on it, though, did it?
Hangs up there a long time, and that was a trademark of Boomer's passing earlier in the year. He really has a powerful arm, and those patterns are the ones he throws the best.
16 yards the first down. Now James Brooks. Look who came flying up there, Michael Walter, to plug the hole. Roberts was there as well, but it was Walter, 99, flying to the ball.
Very, very active linebackers for this 49er team. I'll tell you, George Seifert, their defensive coordinator, has done a tremendous job of putting this defense together in positions where they can make the stops.
Needless to say,
we'd love to see that.
First experience would be one worthy of some historical merit.
We talked about that all week, and people looked at us like we were crazy.
6:44 left in the 4th quarter, tied at 13. Second down, 9. Ickey Woods close to a first down as he drives to the San Francisco 44. Fuller and Ellison make the tackle as Ricky Ellison gets up off the ball. Number 50, the tackler for San Francisco. His dad, you said, is here from New Zealand to see him play.
His father has never seen him play a football game. Father and mother separated early. His father has lived out of the country, was in Fiji, wanted to come to Super Bowl 19. The day he was going to leave, a hurricane came through, blew the roof off his house. He wasn't able to come. He's here watching his son today, but we're not going to show you a picture of him.
Not after the Norman Esiason experience of a couple weeks ago. First down, Cincinnati, 5:51 to go.
Father Dan very proud, I'm sure, the way his son's playing today.
Ickey Woods behind that big right side of the line and plows under Brian Blados, the 300-pound right tackle, and has good yardage again.
San Francisco slanting their defensive line. They've done a pretty good job here in the second half of shutting down the running game. But I think that big offensive line beginning to wear down this defense, and that should pay off in running yardage.
Jim Breach, the field goal kicker, is connected 2 for 2 today. His last from 43 yards. Second down and 3. Woods now with 74 yards, leading the Cincinnati running game. And it's his number again. No, play action. Esiason then throws, complete. Was he out of bounds? James Brooks, that's a good catch. They say inbounds. A dozen more for the Bengals, and that'll put them into field goal range with a first down at the 25.
You talk about a toe tapper. Boy, I'll tell you, those toes down. Now they're saying no catch now. Watch the toes here. Brooks.
First down.
1. That's inbounds.
The second toe out of bounds.
And so far, the instant replay.
Yeah, they're saying they're not going to stop it. He was saying he was pushed out of bounds, that his toe would have come down. The toe would have come down inbounds, but he was pushed.
First down at the 24-yard line, and the snap doesn't even come off.
Carter jumping a little bit early. Did someone move?
Well, we look at Breach, but Sam White's is thinking more than field goal now.
He wants the 7.
Ball start prior to the snap.
Well,
Number
again,
64, the
movement
center,
by the
still
offensive
first down.
line, Kazurski, who has worked so hard today on Michael Carter. We talked about the impact of Carter. Here's that last play. Boy, this is great body control by James Brooks. Watch those toes stretch down. And you see the shove right there by Tim McKyer. If McKyer is not there to push him, that other toe does come down. I agree with the call.
Fans who watched it on the replay in the stadium, at least the 49er fans, booing. They thought that was not a favorable call. First down, 15 at the 30. And they run it. Woods gets back the 5 yards they lost on the penalty. You saw earlier in the game that Ickey on his sweatband over the forehead had number 46. That was the number of his friend from Fresno and UNLV teammate. There it is, Andre Horn. You've heard the story. Horn was his pal that they were supposed to get together one night. Ickey didn't make it, and his friend Andre Horn was murdered. And that turned Woods' life around. That was his best buddy, and he remembers him here in the Super Bowl experience. 2nd and 10. Esiason going for Brooks, incomplete at the 5. Walder drifting back in pass defense to help out Ronnie Lott. All right, 3rd down. Cincinnati today has been 4 for 13. And this is a tough one, 3rd and 11.